everyone, today I have a new video for you. It's going to be Blackbeard, one of my favorite leaders in the entire game, just because of how funny he is to play. For those of you who don't know, Marshall D teach, your on play abilities don't activate. It's a 5 life, 5k leader. Activate main, you may trash one card from your hand until the end of your opponent's next turn. Your opponent's on play abilities don't activate, meaning they can't use any on play abilities because it just doesn't work. Alright, so this is essentially a deck list that's PRB2, right? And the only PRB2 card really that is in this deck is the Shiryu. So let's go ahead and go through the cards first in the deck list. First is going to be our first 2k, which is Stronger, obviously a staple for Marshall Teach. Activate main, it's a 2k counter, 1 cost. Activate main, you may trash 1 card from your hand and this character, and if your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type, draw 1 card. Then give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 cost for the turn. So pretty decent cost reducer if you're in a bind, but it's mainly used for the 2k. Now we run 4 of those. Next up we have our first searcher of the deck. It's going to be Lafitte. Lafitte is a 1 cost 1k. Activate main. You may rest a character and a Dawn, so technically cost 2 Dawn to be able to search out with it, right? Play it out and then search with it, then a Dawn here thereafter. So look at the top 5 cards, reveal up to 1 Blackbeard Pirates type, and put it into your hand, then place the rest on the bottom. Next up is our second and last 2k counter. We also run 4 of, so we only have 8 2k counters in this deck. It's going to be the Caribou. The Caribou from OP11, which is a blocker. It's 1 cost 2k counter. On play, trash 2 cards from your hand, but as you know, because of the leader, the on plays do not work. Right, so it's a decent blocker, you know, for a 1 cost chump blocker. I wish that they had a better Blackbeard Pirates card that was searchable, that was almost like Caribou, right? It's also a 2k counter, but also a chump blocker. I hope they have future support for that. There's a couple cards that I wish would have more support, which we'll come across here in a second, but let's go on to our next card. It's going to be the Doc Q. Now the Doc Q is one of your KO bodies. Right, it's a 2 cost 1k counter. Activate main, rest the character, and if your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type, you can KO up to one of your opponent's cost 1 or lower characters. So it is archetype locked, and on KO you're able to draw a card, so it does replace itself when you play it out. And that's one of the things about this deck, you always need cards in hand, especially if you want to keep using your leader ability, right? And there are a couple more cards that help us with that card draw essentially. So next up we have 4 cost Laboon. Laboon is a 1k counter, 5000 power body. Activate main, rest the character, and give one of your opponent's cost -4 for the turn. Now, we only run 2 of the Laboon because of the fact that this deck list is mainly, it's kind of like played like Lucci, right? But it's mainly more for setting up your Burgess and your 10 cost Teach. At least that's how I play this deck list. And I wish also this was the second card I was talking about, that they would make a Blackbeard Pirates type card for, that was also a cost reducer, something that does give -4, but it is a Blackbeard Pirates type that's searchable, and also it doesn't need that on KO effect, right? Just like the Van Augur, which will come across here soon, and the Doc Q card. But it's good for now. It's a great cost reducer to have, especially if you get it in your hand when you first start. And so on to one of our better cards in the deck. It's going to be the Jesus Burgess. This is what makes the deck essentially, this and the 10 cost Teach as of right now. You know, even with the starter deck edition and the PRB2 Shiryu edition, this is one of your win cons along with the 10 cost Teach. So Jesus Burgess, for those of you who don't know, 4 cost 5000 power body. The character can't be KO'd by opponent's effects, but if your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type, the character gains +1000 for every 4 cards in your trash. So it can get really big, and it can't be KO'd by your opponent's effects, right? It can be bottom deck though. It can be red rocked. It can be gravity bladed, so you really have to be careful about those cards, especially when you're going against blue. But those are the main ones. Trash also, it can be trashed by the Ben Beckman 7 cost that's in most Shanks decks, okay? And so you have to be careful when you're going against those cards and decks as to not play out too many that they'll all be bottom decked. But really great card. Next we have the PRB2 Shiryu. This Shiryu is a 5000 power body, 4 cost. If your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type, the character gains blocker and +4 cost. So it can't be hit by Gravity Blade, it can't be hit by Red Rock. I mean it can be hit by Red Rock, but it just can't be hit by Gravity Blade, right? So on KO, if your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type, you KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a base cost of 4 or less. Really good into the aggro matchup, Rayleigh, Betty, and so that's why I have 2 of those in this deck. You know, you want to get them early on to be able to beat aggro off easily. So next we have the 5 cost Van Augur, Blackbeard Pirates type, right? 6k power, body 1k counter. Activate main, rest the character, and if your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type, you give one of your opponents -3 cost for the turn. And then on KO, just like the Doc Q, it is a draw 1 card, meaning it cycles itself out. Good cost reducer, you can't really complain. For 5 cost though, I hate that it's only -3. Again, I get it, the on KO makes up for that fact, but if you didn't have the Laboons and you just ran a Blackbeard package, your only cost reducers are the Katarina Devon, which is a 2k counter, and still it has a steep price to pay to be able to minus cost from the opponents, right? And then the Stronger, which is -2, and the Katarina Devon is also -2. So that's why we have the Laboon in this deck. But next up we have one of my favorite cards in the entire game. It's the 5 cost Kuzan. 5 cost, 5000 power body. This character can't be removed from the field by your opponent's effects, so can't be Red Rock, can't be Gravity Bladed, it just can't be removed from the field, period, right? And the activate main is you trash the character, draw 1 card, and then play up to 1 Blackbeard Pirates type card with a cost of 5 or less, character card by the way, with a cost of 5 or less other than Kuzan from your trash. So not only do you get 1 card extra for playing it out, so in turn you don't go minus in your hand, right? You play Kuzan out, use the leader ability, +1 card in your hand, free leader ability, right? You can use that for a free leader ability, and you get to play out something from your trash, which is preferably the Burgess or one of the blockers, or a cost reducer, right? So really great card. I really love that they added this from OP10 into the Martial Teach, you know, Blackbeard Pirates type cards. So next we have Kuzan again. It's the 6 cost blocker, 6000 power. On KO, play up to 1 Blackbeard Pirates type character card with a cost of 5 or less from your trash, rested. So it does come in rested. I only run one of these because even then, even with one of these in my deck, I don't really use the card as often. I'm thinking of replacing it, maybe for another Laboon, maybe for another Shiryu. It just depends how the meta is going, right? So if I see more aggro, more Rayleigh, more cards, decks that do aggro, like say a Vegapunk or even an Emu is technically kind of aggro, then I would put a Shiryu in. But the problem with Emu, as you know, they can't be KO'd once they hit 7 cards, I think it is, so you'd have to be wanting to use it pretty early. But I think that you can replace this card with something better. So, but it is a decent blocker for 6 cost, being able to play out a card rested. Next up we have the starter deck, starter 27, 7 cost Teach, 8000 power, really great addition. Activate main, rest the character, and KO to a 3 cost or less body, right? And this was really needed for sure. Now, you know, if we only had Doc Q, it would have been hard. We would have just used finger guns and liberations to be able to KO bodies with our cost reducers, right? Because Doc Q only hits a 1 cost or less. So it's nice to have Martial D Teach, and it replaces itself on KO. Add up to 1 black card from your trash to your hand. So it can be any black card, Laboon, you know, and any black card that you have in your trash, you just bring it back, Caribou, any of those. And it can replace itself too, which is a great effect. So with the 10, next up we have the 10 cost Teach, obvious staple for this deck. 10 cost 12,000 power blocker, activate main once per turn. If your leader is Blackbeard Pirates type, the character was played on that turn, one of your opponent's leader's effects are negated for the rest of the turn, and one of your opponent's characters are negated until the end of their turn. So you can negate one of their characters from being a blocker or one of their effects, and it just gets negated, right? So they also can't attack until the next turn. Really good card. Now we're going into our event cards. Our first event card is going to be Tempest Kick, of course, 1 cost main, draw 1 card. After this, if your trash has 10 or more cards, give up to one of your opponent's characters -3 cost for the turn. Really good cost reducer, and you get +1 in your hand, so you don't go negative at all. And the trigger is KO up to one of your opponent's 3 cost or lower characters. Pretty good if you get it early on, especially. Next, our second searcher of the deck. It's the This Is My Age event card. The main, it's a 1 cost. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Blackbeard Pirates type, other than this card, of course, and put it into your hand, then put the rest into your trash. So a good card to be able to fill up your trash for the Burgess and get targets for your Kuzan, right? And the trigger is just activate the card's main effect. Really, really good searcher card. Next up, we run one of the Black Hole or Liberation. I think it's called Liberation. I don't know why it's called Black Hole here, but it's a 4 cost, and the main is if your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type, negate the effect of up to one of your opponent's characters during the turn. Then if that character has a cost of 4 or less, KO it. There's only one of these just because of the fact that you will run into the mirror, right? And in the mirror, this is really good against Burgess because it negates his effect, so it can be KO'd, and it gets KO'd because it's a 4 or less, right? Especially if they get really huge towards the late game. This is such a good card in the mirror. Next up, we have a Liberation. This is mainly for the aggro matchups. 6 cost main if you have 2 or more characters less than your opponent, so that's really important. If you have 2 or more characters less, meaning your opponent has to have 2 or more characters on the board than you. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a original cost of 6 or less, and one with an original cost of 4 or less. So you can get rid of a 6 cost and a 4 cost with this card, and it's mainly in there just for the aggro matchups. Next up, the very, very much needed stage to be able to essentially cycle through your entire deck, right? With this card, you're able to get through most of the cards in your deck if you really need them. It's the 1 cost Hachinosu, or Full of Lead. Activate main, trash 1 card from your hand and rest the stage. Look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, reveal 1 Blackbeard Pirates type, add it to your hand, and place the rest on the bottom. Really, really good stage card. Now, I know I was saying a while ago how I feel like they should add something for the Laboon and the Caribou, right? A Blackbeard Pirates type that is the equivalent of these 2 cards. And that's just only because I love this deck so much and I do want to see it thrive. The problem is with a deck like this, you don't want it to be the best deck in the format, right? Just because of what the ability does, and it wouldn't be fun if this was the best deck in the format. It's just nice to have this up there in the ranks, whether it's A tier or right below S tier, just not the best deck, but really fun deck to play. We'll get right into the games. Okay, everyone, we have our first match. It's against Green Zoro, obviously a really good meta contender. We go ahead and keep this hand just because we like that we have 3 searchers. We've got our stage card, which is very important. We've got Lafitte, and we've got This Is My Age. Now, my game plan going into this game, I think if this is the game I'm thinking of, is to find my Burgesses, right? And bring those out to stack up against him, because I do think that cost reducing and with this against Zoro, it's a meh. Your win con against this guy is to be able to bring out your big bodies and just swing at him, you know? So first we play the Lafitte. We can't search with it just yet because of the fact that you need to rest 1 Dawn in order to do a search. Now there's an argument to be made that we should have This Is My Age to Full of Lead first, but we're able to do that on the next turn because we're at 3 Dawn, so we get to search 3 times, right? So they go ahead and play out their activate main searcher, the Zoro does, and they pass it back to us. We swing into their searcher, which is the Hyori. They take, of course, they're not going to defend 5,000. We make a search, and we bring out the Shiryu. Now, the reason I want to bring this out is because if they do bring out the Quina, we don't have to swing into it the next turn, right? Because if they rest this, they attack into it, we can KO the Quina. And, you know, then we can just attack leader the next turn. Now we play out the This Is My Age. We look, we're thinking about it. Let me actually 2 times speed this, or 1.5 times speed this real quick. Sorry about that. Speed 1.5 and play. So we do take the Burgess, like I said. Our plan is to build up our trash to bring out the Burgesses. We trash the Van Augur and we get the Marshall D Teach out, just in case, right? So we have a blocker, we have the Burgess, we have a cost reducer, and we have the Teach. So really good hand so far. I think we go ahead and not pitch yet, so we pass it back to them. They swing for 5. Really, the only time you want to be pitching for leader ability against Zoro is when they start to get to their 5+ Dawn turns, because they have the Cavendish, potentially. They have the, you know, some of them run Carrot, some of them run, who else? Hody, right? You can stop the resting of Dawns, especially if you need it. You can, the Mihawk, very important because they don't get 4 Dawn back. It is just an 8 cost, so get right back into it. They play the Quina after, so we say okay. We attack first, of course. Sequencing is very important. Trash, take the Stronger for a 2k, bring out the Van Augur, because next turn we're at 7 Dawn. We trash the Burgess, so we have 2 Burgesses now in trash. We trash the Burgess for leader ability. He can't use any of his on plays. We have the Van Augur out. He can, remember, Quina can only rest a original 4 cost or less, so he can't rest the Van Augur. Zoro brings out the Tashigi, of course, so we have to get rid of the Tashigi first. He swings at us for 5. We take this, you know, we're still at 5 life, now we're at 4, and we're able to have more cards in hand. They bring out another Tashigi, so they have 2 Tashigis now. That's 2 2k counters less from their hand, right? So we go ahead and bring out the, actually I think we swing first, of course, right? And we do have the Teach to be able to kill the Tashigi, but we should really swing first. Get rid of the Docu because we have the Marshall D Teach. Get a 10 cost blocker just because that was one of the only good picks from that search. Swing for 5, of course, then swing for 6, and then bring out the Teach to KO one of the Tashigis. Okay, good turn. Pass it back. Now we have a 6k body and an 8k body on board. Pitch Shiryu, I think, right? No, we pitched the Burgess. Alright. Pitch to Burgess. They can't use on plays again. They're at 8 Dawn turn, actually. They go ahead and bring out the Tashigi. Okay, so they can't use the on play. They just use the Quina to be able to attach 3 rested Dawn for free. They attach the rest of it, attack into the Marshall D Teach. We take, of course, we're not going to defend it, and we take another card out. That's going to be the same Marshall D Teach, just because we want to get rid of that Tashigi. Okay, so they attack into us next. We take, play out the 7 cost Teach, get rid of the Tashigi, attack into the Quina, so they quit getting free rested Dawn. Bring out a Search. We take the, you'd want to take the 2k, right? But that's fine. We take the Kuzan blocker instead. Trash the Van Augur for our stage to get the This Is My Age. Attack 6 with Van Augur and pitch the Shiryu for a leader ability. Now it's back over to them. They've got the 5 cost Tashigi, right? 7,000 power to be able to attack into us. So let's see what they do. They attack into our Augur. We get a +1 in hand. If they attack into our Teach, we get another +1 into our hand no matter what. So we're looking good. They attack 10 into our Augur. We let this go, draw 1. Now we have 2 2Ks in hand. Great. They go ahead and pretty sure attach the rest of their Dawn. Yep. They attack into our Marshall D Teach. Cool. I think we counter out of this, but I wouldn't be surprised if we just let it go. I'm thinking here, see. Yep, we do end up countering out. Perfect. Because we do have a Tempest kick in hand, so they attack us. We get the 5 cost Kuzan. Perfect. Pass it back to us. We trash the Laboon. Get a 5 cost Kuzan. Perfect. Now we can bring out a blocker and some of our Burgesses that we trashed, that we pitched a while ago. So all about controlling the board and then being able to swing with our big bodies. So we swing for 5, they counter out, going through our trash real quick just to be sure. All right, we have the Kuzan, bring out the Van Augur, -3 Shigi, and then KO it. Gone. All right, trash 1. We get rid of the Teach just because we have one on board already, and if it dies we can just take it back to our hand. So I'm pretty sure we play out the Kuzan again just to get a draw 1, but we do take the Shiryu instead. I would have gone for the Burgess just because it would have been a safe bet, right? But Shiryu is fine too. Blocker doesn't really matter much unless you have 2 or more blockers against Zoro, because they can just restand, right? Especially if he has the 3 cost event that he can swing at us with. So go ahead, play out the Quina, activate main, rest our Shiryu. They go ahead and attack into it, I think. And if they do, we just KO their Quina, right? Swing into our Teach, let it go. We take a Kuzan this time to be able to bring out the Burgess. So they attack into us now. We take, nothing else we can do. Now we have 2 10 cost Teaches. We bring out the 10 cost Teach maybe. Get rid of the Docu first. Now we have a Kuzan, 2 Kuzans and 2 Teaches. So really good hand so far. Attack first, attack in the Quina. They take. Next we attack with the Augur, but I wouldn't be surprised if we bring out the Burgess now. 4,000 power. See, now it's a 9,000 power body. Bring out the Burgess next again. Perfect. Now we have 2 9k bodies on board. attack for 6, they counter out or they take, which would be bad, but they do counter out, so perfect. We trash the Liberation, I'm sure, because we don't need it. It's nice to keep the Searchers in hand just to fill up our trash for the Burgess also. So we pass it back over. We do have one blocker, but that won't really do much because they can just restand. This is a very risky situation right here because they could have attached 7 of their Dawn, right? Attacked. If we would have blocked, they would have attacked into us again, and then they could have restand with the 3 Dawn using the event, right? Luffy will become King of the Pirates and restand and attack into us again for 12,000. So 12,000 attacks, we would have lost. Lucky for us, he didn't have the restand, I'm pretty sure. So he's here thinking of what to do next. Attaches 7, he baits us. So we do block with the Shiryu to get rid of the Tashigi. They attack into us, of course. Now we're at 0 life. So now we swing for 10 with the Burgess. That's 2 life. We test the waters here. We attach 4 to the Van Augur to attack into them for 10 again, see if they do take. I'm pretty sure they end up countering here, so we're not able to go for lethal, right? Because this was a all or nothing, try to go for it. Oh, we attached 3 Dawn, sorry. And after this, because, you know, Zoro can only restand once, we put out 2 of the Caribous that we have in hand instead of keeping it as a 2K, and instead of playing the 10 cost teach, because then, even if they do have the restand, right? The only way we'd lose next round, I should say, sorry, is if they do have the restand and they just showed that they didn't and they couldn't make any searches, so they would have to top deck it or get it from life. So now we bring out the Kuzan, bring out the blocker, of course, play the 2 Caribous, replace the Augur with the next Caribou, and now we have 3 blockers on board, and he wouldn't have been able to get out, and he gives up here, right? So with 3 blockers on board, if he attacks into us, we would have blocked once. He can restand, attack into us again, we would have blocked again. If he used his restand event card, Luffy will become Pirate King or whatever, we could have blocked again. The thing about that is we could have countered out if he used 2 of those events, right? So he would have been only able to attach 4 Dawn, so he would have been swinging for 9, right? So anyways, all in all, a great game. GG's to our opponent. I think it was a, you know, very, very close match. If he had the restand on there, we would have lost for sure. But all in all, a good game. Like I said, you want to control the board first, set up for your Burgesses to come out along with your 10 cost teaches towards the end. That's normally how this deck is played. So thanks for this game, and we'll go on to the next one. Okay, so we have a matchup here against an aggro deck, just to show off what Teach can do. And it's against Silver's Rayleigh, very strong meta contender for OP12. We go ahead, they took second, alright, so they chose to go second to be able to play out that Luffy, and so we're going first. We mulligan because we didn't like with the cards that we had. They play out the 2 cost Sanji. We attach 1 into our leader, swing for 6. We have 2 for the dock queue, play that out, and trash for leader ability because we know they're going to use the Luffy next turn. Now, the Sanji's kind of a threat, but at the same time, it's kind of bad for their end because they are trashing a life if they use the ability. So it's a double-edged sword, really. They go ahead, play out the Sanji. Alright. So they have 2 Sanjis on board. They show their ability, attach it to use it on the Sanji. And I think he does use the ability of Sanji here to swing, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they attack for 6 first, we counter out of this one, and then take the 9. Like I was saying, in aggro matchups, you want to be very, very liberal with your life. So you do want to counter out early because later on you won't be able to counter out anymore. And towards the late game, aggro decks most of the time will not be doing well because they run out of resources. So they go ahead and pass it back to us. We play out the Laboon. Attach 1, 6 into Sanji first, of course. They get rid of it. We play out the Laboon, KO the Sanji. They draw 1, but that's fine. We pitch for leader ability, pass it back over. So we still have a strong board presence and control. They attach 2 Dawn, swing into the Laboon. We let that go. We don't have enough counter to counter out. We don't have enough cards, really. So they play out the Nami, They can't search because we did pitch for leader ability, and they bring out another Sanji to take more life, I guess. So we use the Full Lead, get rid of the Burgess, and we finally get our Shiryu, which is really good in these matches. Attach 1, swing for 6, bring out the Van Augur, KO the Sanji just because it will be a threat, even though it does take their life. And then we pitch for leader ability, which is going to be the Laboon. Alright. They attack into our Van Augur. We let it go. Take one card. We get another Van Augur. They attack into our Dock Q, and we do draw another card for that. So we're back to 3 cards in hand, not just one. They give the leader ability to their Nami, plus 2k, attach 3 more Dawn, go for 7, we take, and we get a good trigger at the same time, get rid of one of their bodies for free. Then they bring out the killer, Kid Killer, and because, you know, we were very liberal with not taking our life, conservative with taking our life, so it doesn't get the plus 2,000 it usually gets. It's not a 7,000 power swing, it's a 5,000, and we just counter out. We don't want to go less than 3 life. So we use This Is My Age. We have a Shiryu out on board. Bring out the Shiryu, attack into the Nami. Perfect. Play 2 Shiryus. We're heavily guarded. And pitch for leader ability. Now we have 0 cards in hand. That's fine. Because all they can do is attack us. And we can just take cards from our hand. From our life. So they bring out the Luffy. They can't use the ability, see? So we go ahead. Block this one. Kill the killer. And they can't attack with the Luffy. So we trash the stronger and we get the Kuzan. Lucky for us, we get the Kuzan. We bring it out, able to draw one, bring the Shiryu back again. See, very powerful into the aggro matchups, like I was saying. We could also bring out the Burgess just so we have bigger bodies, and I guess I wouldn't be opposed to bringing out the Burgess either. We do bring out the Burgess, and it's a 9k power body. So we attach the rest of our Dawn onto our leader. Swing for 10. They take. Now they're at 1 life. We trash the 1 card for leader ability, so they can't bring out any more bodies, right? They bring out another Luffy. It's game at this point, essentially. So they swing for 7. We block, take out the Luffy that can attack this turn, right? We take this. They attack again. We block. Kill the Luffy. Just because now that Luffy is rested. So we swing. Well, we bring out the 10 cost teach, nullify the ability, and it can attack. We swing for 5. Nothing. Swing for 10 at them. 9 at the Luffy again. They take, or they, you know, they could counter out if they wanted to, but that's a lot of wasted cards. So they do counter out. They do have the Conqueror's Haki to be able to minus 1,000 us. Conqueror's Haki again, minus 1,000. We pitch for leader ability. You know, we still have 0 cards in hand, but we do have 2 big bodies on board. They swing into us for 5. They're going to try to go for game, but they can't unless they have a... Here I was thinking they had a, you know, rush, but we still have 1 blocker on board. They attach 2 Dawn to their Luffy for some reason. Who knows why, and they give up. So all they had was events and a bow in their hand, but they couldn't have used the on play. They could have used the activate main though, but they just only had 2 attacks. So next turn we would have killed them anyways. Swing for 9, swing for 12, and then attach the rest to our leader and swing for 15. Right, so it would have been a good GG. But that was a quick aggro matchup, and so we'll go on to the next one. Okay, we have another game here. It's going to be against Eustace Kid, Yellow Kid, one of the meta contenders that I was talking about in a prior video that I think is really good. So we go ahead and mulligan because they chose to go first, so we're going second. We want the Dock Q Van Laboon Curve, see if we can get those in hand, but we don't, unfortunately. But we do have our 1 cost searcher and the stage card. So they bring out, they search for a Bege. They get a Bege from their search. We bring out the Lafitte, get the Van Augur because we did draw Dock Q, so we're on our path to be able to do our board control, right? They're at 3 Dawn now. They swing 2 into our Lafitte. Let that go, of course. We're not going to save that. 6 into us. We take, we get our This Is My Age from life. All right, so we're able to pick from our top 3 on our deck. We end up picking the Liberation, I'm sure, here because we want to get rid of their bodies, but we also, you know, that was the second thing I was going to say. We also kind of want to get the Burgess. I don't remember most of these games that I play just because I play so many of them. But we take the Burgess. We play out the Burgess, of course. But first we swing, get rid of a body on board. We don't want to give them any more resources. They take, for sure. Why would they counter out of that? Bring out the Burgess. It's at plus 1k. Trash a card for counter. Trash a card for leader ability. Done. Pass it back over to them. They're not able to use any of their on plays. They're not able to use Kuma's, Laws, or their, you know, life burn cards. So We're in a good position here. We have lots of 2Ks, the Van Augur, and the stage in our hand. They attack for 5. We take. We get a 10 cost each. They play another Bege. I don't know why our opponent isn't playing out bigger bodies. Maybe they just weren't able to get it, like a Basil Hawkins or something, or even just a Kiku Nojo. So we go ahead. We're on our 6th Dawn turn. Play out the stage. We trash the Van Augur. We end up getting a 2K counter, right? So just to have a lot of defense. Play out the Kuzan. Trash it. Bring out the Van Augur. Attack into them. They take, just so they have more cards in hand. Swing for 6. They counter. And we pitch for leader ability, get rid of the Tempest Kick, and pass it back over. So we're in a really good spot just because the kid isn't really developing a board per se, you know, because all they have is blockers and an X-Strike, which leads me to think that they don't really have a good hand, or they didn't start out with a good hand. But anyways, they swing big into our Burgess, and of course we're gonna counter out just because we have four 2Ks in hand, right? So we counter out. All right, we take, they Gum Red Hawked our Van Augur. So if you guys didn't see that, just like I did, if you go back a little bit, they used Gum Red Hawk, right? So they rested 4 Dawn, killed our Van Augur, and we were able to draw for turn. Now we have something to trash for our full LED stage. The next turn, we do that first and trash it. We take the 10 cost teach. Now we have 2 10 cost teaches. Do the This Is My Age search to boost our Burgess, and we get another Burgess. So you can see the route that we're taking here. Trash 1, we trash the Laboon. Burgess is at 8,000. We swing for 7, and then we swing for 8 into leader, right? So all in all, really good turn. Develop more bodies. Nothing they can really do there. And if they weren't to swing into our Burgess big again, I think we do have enough counter to be able to get out of it. Okay, so they do swing big again into our Burgess, right? So they do all 7, 12K. We counter out. They're not going to be able to swing at it again, so we might as well just counter out of it. Notice there, we did 2 2Ks, and then because we filled our trash with an extra 4 again, it got boosted plus 1K. Okay, so always be aware of how much you have in trash. 9K now is both our Burgesses. So they can't do anything else except play out another blocker, which maybe they will, maybe they won't, maybe a Scratchman Apu, which they do. Bring out a Scratchman Apu, and they pass it back to us. So now we have the Marshall D teach out. I'm sure we can KO one of their Beges if we play it out, or we can just 10 cost teach also, nullify one of their blockers, so it's not a blocker. Now we swing for 5. They block, I'm pretty sure, a counter, yep, and then we swing again. They block one of these, and then on the Burgess, on the second Burgess attack, they take just because they're able to play out that Trafalgar Law, right? So swing, they take, play out the Law, pitch 1 for leader ability, but first we do a quick search. We get a Shiryu, pitch to Shiryu, and then send it back over, because we know next turn we're just going to play another 10 cost each, right? This is easy pickings. Notice how strong of a board presence we have now, all because the Eustace kid can't play any on plays, and also because I think that they just had a bad hand, right? So they swing with the rest of their Dawn into our Burgess, but they don't realize that that's just 11, right? 13, so we counter out 12, 2K, done. They can't swing again. They leave 2 Dawn up. They should have swung with all 2 Dawn, that way they could have gotten rid of my 10 cost teach. But it wouldn't have mattered, they still have 2, 3 blockers now. They're gonna have 4 because they use the leader ability on the Law. So just to survive, very strong board. So they attack for 5, we take, now we get another 10 cost teach. See, we play out the 10 cost teach, nullify and get rid of the blocker. We attack for 5, they block out, I'm sure. Counter 2K, so they only had a 2K. Attack for 9, block, attack for 9 again. Weird to me that they're able to use that Trafalgar Law blocker. I don't know if that's just a glitch, but usually because of how the Marshall D teach is worded, as you can see right here, it negates the character's effects, so it's no longer a blocker, it's just a vanilla card, right? That's how it is when I play at my locals here anyways. But We go ahead, attack for 9 again, they block. We swing for 12 this time, they block again. They only have one blocker left and an X-Drake. We just pitch for leader ability, get rid of the 2k because we do want to play the 10 cost teach next turn and pass it back over. This is essentially game, right? Doesn't matter. They can't, if they swung with all 3 characters, but even then we have 2 life and a big blocker, so it wouldn't have mattered in the end. They swing big again for some reason. Instead of playing more bodies out, they swing at us. We let go of the teach this time just because we can't counter out. So they do attack for 14. We can't counter out. We let it go. They have 1 Dawn left, 1 blocker. They can't use leader ability to make X-Drake a blocker, so bad on them. We attack into them, 5, swing for 10. They block. It's the only thing they can do after taking. So they're thinking about it real hard. They take, swing for 10, they block. We attach the rest of our Dawn, and it's game. GG. GG's to our opponent. Now, you notice in his hand, I think he got from life and top decked most of these cards, so he just had a bad hand the entire game, which happens. It does happen, and it happens to us too, but we're able, because of our stage and other searchers, cycle our cards out pretty neatly. And so you can see they got the 2 8 kids and the 2 7 laws and 1 2k. So GG's to our opponent. We'll go into the next one. Okay everyone, we have our last match for today. It's against a green Bonney, another good meta contender, right? So they chose to go first, we're taking second. All right, good on the Bonney. So we want that second Dawn curve, that even curve with the Doc Q and whatnot, and we do get the Doc Q from draw, luckily, and we're able to KO their Bonney Searcher before they're even able to use it. So I think that was a big factor in this game to be able to do. And we can't swing. We don't use leader ability either, just because, you know, we're not really too scared of what their leader abilities are. Most of it is on activate mains that they use, or at the end of turn or something like that, right? Because they're able to active their Dawn or something. We don't do it till later on when they can play their 5 cost Bonnies or Cavendishes or whatever else. So they swing big, attach all 3 Dawn, swing for 8. We get the Burgess from life. We go ahead and play the stage out, trash the Burgess just because we're able to bring it back out with the Kuzan if we wanted to. Take the teach, pitch it for leader ability because, you know, we already have one. And we do another search with the, so we trash the teach for leader ability, right? And then we use the This Is My Age, take the Van Augur, something good to use our Doc Q with, and we finally pitch for leader ability. Now they can't use their Cavendishes, they can't use their Carrots, they can't use whatever else, whatever other on plays that they do have in hand. Okay, 2 Dawn left. See what our opponent does. They play the Scratchman Apu 2k, thinking, I think they thought they had an on play. They're able to use their on play here because it says rest up to one of your opponent's cost 2 or less characters. But, you know, you really got to be careful. So they swing into us instead after playing out the Rogue. We take another 2k counter in hand. Perfect. Now we can bring out the Van Augur and -3 the Rogue. Pitch for leader ability first. We pitch the Van Augur so we can play the Kuzan to get an extra draw to take the Van Augur from trash, right? So we play out the Van Augur, -3, KO. Control the board. Trash the, get rid of the Doc Q, of course, because we have the 7 teach turn coming up, right? So we get another 2k, or I think actually we got the big body teach, the 10 cost teach. Attach the rest of our Dawn, swing for 6k, they take, or they could counter out too. They do end up countering out with the Scratchman Apu. So that's perfectly fine. It is the starter 2, rest up to one of your opponent's Dawn cards when attacking, when there's a Dawn attached to it. So weird that they have these cards instead as the 2Ks instead of the newer starter deck ones. But anyways, they go ahead and play out a Carrot. They can't use the on play, so they can't freeze any of our characters. Perfect. Now they attach 2, attack 7 into our Augur, but we counter out. We want to keep it on board just so we have cost reduction. They do get rid of our Doc Q first though, and that's fine. We draw 1 because of it. Play out the Martial Teach now because it's just that strong of a card. So we go ahead, -3 the Carrot, and then bring out the Martial D Teach to KO it, right? And then now we're able to swing with our Van Augur. But first we swing into the Apu For 5, they take, and then we swing 6. They take because they only have 3 cards in hand. We already pitched for leader ability. We do a quick cycle of our cards, get rid of the Van Augur, and get another 2k. Pass it back over. We're in a very good position here. They're at 4 life though, we're at 3 life. I think as a Teach player, you shouldn't be afraid to be at lower life because that's where you thrive. Except against like Green Zoro or something, that's a completely different, unique situation. But in these situations, because you want to have as much resources in hand as you can. And you want all the right cards, and you need all the right cards. So, pass it back to our Bonney. They play out the U-Rogue again, and then another blocker. So that's 2 blockers, and the U-Rogue can activate one of their Dawn at the end of their turn. So they attack into us, we take, we get another Kuzan. Lucky for us. But we're able to play the 10 cost Teach out now if we really wanted to. We go ahead, bring out the Augur. -3, the U-Rogue, I think. But 10 cost Teach is also a good play. We'll see. They do 10 cost Teach, nullify that, and nullify the Bonney. We -3 the... We attack 5 first. They can't use their leader ability, right? So, good on us. We attack... We cost reduce the U-Rogue for sure, and then KO it. And then cycle our card. We get rid of a Van Augur again. We get another Kuzan just for card draw. And then pitch for leader ability. Because the nullify only lasts for this round, right? So we pitch, pass it back over to them. We have a big blocker. Their Bonney can't attack into us. And we have a good, well-rounded board. We have our Van Augur on there, and we have our Teach. So they do Hody. They can't use the on play of the Hody, though. Sorry. But it is Rush. So they attach 2 into it. All 3 Dawn. They attack into the Teach. We block. Right? That's obvious. That's what we're going to do, because 5k is not going to get rid of anything else on our board. So they attack into us instead. We do end up countering out. That's fine. So now we're in a really good position here. Notice how we have a Dock Q in hand and 2 Kuzans. So at this point I'm thinking, what if we just use the Kuzan, bring that out to bring out another Van Augur, so that we can -6 with our 2 Augurs on board the Hody and KO it with our Dock Q. Right, and I think that's what we end up doing here. Perfect. Augur -3, -3, and then KO it. Perfect. And then we use the... I think we just attach the rest of our Dawn and swing 8 for 8, right? Cycle, we get the Shiryu. Trash for leader ability to Shiryu. Attach 3 Dawn to our leader, swing for 8. Perfect, and then we swing for 8 again. Not only is it good for KOing, it's also good for attacking. That's how good the starter deck teaches. So we swing for 8 again. They counter out. If they had a Hody this next turn, I think they could have gone for game, maybe. But they counter out fully, so they stay at 2 life. They use that event there. They bring out the carrot. They can't use the on play of the carrot, unfortunately for them. So they swing into us with the Bonney leader. 10 into Teach. We counter because the next biggest swing that they have is 6k, right? And they just give up here. So this was a really good game. We were able to control the board early. We were able to dominate, bring out our bodies, and that's the main play of the game, right? Control the board. And we were able to do that all throughout. And next turn it would have been game anyways if we would have just swung with our 6k Augurs, our Teach, and our 10 cost Teach. So GG's to our opponent. That's the last game I have for you guys today. If you want more Blackbeard gameplay, just comment down below, and if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.